Welcome to the channel, guys. We are back again, and today I'm going to be talking about 10 fragrances for 10 crushes. This is a tag video, so if you're interested, stay tuned for that. And if you like the content, guys, hit that like and subscribe button. Really do appreciate it. So I'm pretty sure this tag video was started by Centaur Fragrances, and I was recently tagged on Instagram, so I thought I would go through this. There are a few things to note. One, I don't actually have 10 crushes at one time, so I had to kind of dig through past crushes or people that I found attractive, and so I picked them. Also, I don't actually know a lot of female fragrances, and so I've picked a lot of unisex fragrances, and in some cases I did pick men's fragrances. I think they in some way suit their personality or something like that. I think it would smell good on them, and so that's why I picked them. But without further ado, let's get into it. The first person that I decided to put on this list was Andrea Brazier. She is a 4-time IFBB champion. She's a fitness model, and you know, she looks fantastic. She takes great care of the way that she looks, but she manages to do all of that and still be a very feminine, you know, and sensual person. She just has this really nice quality about her that does give her a lot of sex appeal, in my personal opinion. And for her, I picked Rosé All Day. The reason I picked this fragrance is because it is sensual. It's very seductive, but it does have a very nice, sweet quality to it as well. It also has a luxurious touch to it, and I do find that she is someone who comes off to be someone a little more classy and luxurious. So, I mean, there's all kinds of types of women that I find attractive, but for her in particular, one of the things that is attractive about her is that she is a very classy person. And so I think this fragrance works really well for her, and that's what I picked. The next person that I decided to put on this list was none other than Angie Everhart. So she is one of the most beautiful redheads in the world. I've always had a little bit of a crush or thing for redheads, I guess. And of course, a great fragrance to go with her is a red fragrance, and that is Rolling in Love. So I do find this fragrance to be a little bit feminine, but it is a unisex fragrance. One of the reasons I think it works so well for her, it's a very velvety, smooth, creamy composition, floral, which does give it that feminine characteristic, and definitely fits in with her very well. I think she is this sort of classy, upscale, sensual woman, and I definitely think that this is a fragrance that would work for her for projecting that character alongside her. The next on the list is Ellen Hoog. I probably said that wrong. She is a field hockey player, so very sporty, in great shape. Seems like a very cool person, and I actually considered giving her something like Allure Homme Sport because, you know, something sporty would be something that would work with her because it is a big part of who she is, obviously. I decided to go with something that's a little bit more unisex and something that is still quite appealing, and that, of course, is Essence by Genre Parfums. This smells a lot like, to me anyways, it smells a lot like Skittles. A big bowl of Skittles, so I really like this one. It has a nice candied kind of fruit accord that does give off that vibe. I think the reason I picked it for her again is because gourmands are very sensual and appealing to me in that kind of way that has that sensuality that of course she gives off. And it is something that's a little bit more fun and playful. And so being a sporty person, I think that kind of fun, playful kind of vibe fits in with her personality, and that is what I picked. Next on the list is Gal Gadot, and of course everybody knows her as Wonder Woman. She's absolutely gorgeous, and she comes across as a strong, powerful woman. And I actually saw a video, I think it was the Centurion, I'll have to double check, I forget. And he also did this video, and he decided to pick Noir de Noir for her. And I think that's actually a fantastic pick. This is, again, I think it's a fairly unisex fragrance, but it has this very mysterious, very somewhat daring aspect to it, although I think it's a very mass appealing fragrance. It is a very dark, chocolatey kind of a rose vibe, and so that mysteriousness really plays in well with her character, and I think she is Definitely sort of the femme fatale kind of girl, with the types of roles that she's played and with the type of personality that she exudes. And this kind of works with that. So it has this mystery aspect with this sensuality, with this really, really dark kind of a composition, a little bit daring, a very confident fragrance. And I think that definitely works for someone of her character. And of course, it does smell fantastic. So that is what I picked for her. Next on the list is Jacinda Arden, and she is the Prime Minister of New Zealand, and so she's a very powerful woman. I gotta say, I am a sucker for a woman with a nice career going for her, and that is something she definitely has, and she does certainly seem to be doing well in the position. So for her, I had to pick something strong, something bold, something confident. Not overly so. I didn't pick something like a pungent, stanky oud or something. It had to still be something that is sensual and enjoyable, and so I picked Naxos. This is actually loved by a lot of men compared to Pure Havan. I think for good reason. It's very similar, but it is a fantastic fragrance. It has tobacco, it has honey, and it is a really seductive yet powerful fragrance, and I think that is definitely a quality that she has, and of course I think that's why it matches her so much. Next on the list is Kelly Rowland. So this is back, I guess, in Destiny Child days. Everyone was loving Beyonce. Not that I hate Beyonce, but I always liked Kelly a lot more. And so I've decided to put her on this list. Wanted to pick something, sensual, something with a bit of a sexy touch to it, and something that is, not subtle, something that's a little bit more bold. And I chose Side Effect. This is a fantastic tobacco, boozy fragrance. For me, this one opens up with a little bit of an Orange Crush vibe, as I like to always say with this one. And it is a really seductive scent because it's very sweet, and yet it has that nice tobacco edge to it. So I do really enjoy that fragrance, and I think it's one that works with her because it would be a fantastic pairing of sensuality. Next on the list, Lisa Edelstein. I actually like her most for her role on the show House. I loved that show, and she was Lisa Cuddy. And of course, this is another example of a woman with a great career. She was the Dean of Medicine, and so I wanted to pick something strong and bold for her. And I actually went with a very popular men's scent, and that is Straight to Heaven. I love this one. It's boozy, it's woody, it has dried fruits in it, so it has a little bit of sweetness. And so I think that also works well with her character. So she is obviously in charge, although that's always debatable in the dynamic of the show how much in charge she actually is, but she is in a position of power. She has that strength, but she does have that sweet, sensual, and feminine side as well. And that's sort of what the dried fruits in that sense represent, because it does have that sweetness, bringing in a little bit of femininity to take it off the, I guess, harder edge of masculinity with the booziness and the woodiness. So I think it is a nice pairing. It's a fantastic fragrance. I know there are definitely women out there that love to wear that fragrance, and I definitely think it's one that can be pulled off if done confidently. And Lisa is certainly a confident woman, so I think she would have absolutely no problem rocking Straight to Heaven. Next on the list is Shehata Murata, and she is a Japanese voice actress and singer. I don't really watch a lot of anime, but I did actually first find out about her from an anime that I did watch, and she was one of the characters, and they also do like singing and stuff, and she does sing songs for animes as well as her own songs. And I've always respected her as a very classy, well put together, mature woman. And I decided to pick Moonlight in Heaven. One of the reasons is because this is a very classy and sensual fragrance. Definitely something that's great for wearing out in the evening, out on town, and in those classy situations. So if you're going to a fancy night out, this is something that definitely will fit right in. So you won't be seeming out of place with that fragrance. And so I think it's a great fit for her. It has this beautiful coconut and mango note in it. Also a very unique rice note that I absolutely love about this fragrance. I wish more fragrances would use rice in it. And so I think this is a fantastic pairing for her and for this fragrance, because they're both very classy and very sensual people. And that's definitely the presence that I feel that she exudes. So really do like that fragrance. Still like a lot of her music. It's really fantastic. I've tried to sing some of her songs in karaoke when I've been in Japan, but my Japanese is definitely not good enough to do that particularly well because she sometimes sings quite quickly. Next on the list, another wonderful, stunning redhead, and that is Sarah Rafferty. I have to be amazed every time I see how old this woman is because she's still absolutely gorgeous. She looks way, way younger than her age. She looks fantastic. You know, she's a great actress. She gets things done in the show Suits, which is, of course, what I know her best from. And you know what? I like that about her character. She is somebody who takes on whatever the challenge is and she gets the job done. She's strong and she's beautiful. And what more could you ask from anyone? So for her, I wanted to choose something sensual, something classy, and something absolutely amazing, and that is Italica. Of course, this is perhaps one of the best or the best Gorman fragrances of all time, depending on who you ask. And I think that I chose this one. I mean, it was hard really to give this to any particular person because I actually felt like it was a bit of something extra perhaps to give someone this fragrance because it is held in such high regard. And so this is definitely a compliment as to her character because, you know, it is just this very fantastically sensual, rich, full fragrance. And I really think that's kind of the personality that she portrays and the kind of effect that she has on people. So I think that's a good choice, and I hope that she would enjoy wearing Italica. Last but not least, and perhaps the only female fragrance on the list, so I decided to put Taylor Swift on here. Who can not like her? I just can't help it. I know it's a little bit of a guilty pleasure because for whatever reason, but she's very beautiful. You know, she's talented as well, and she's very independent. And of course, I like those qualities in a woman. Very successful too. I wanted to pick something fun, something feminine, although I'm not entirely sure it's feminine. I feel like it's fairly unisex because it does at least come off to me gourmandy from what I've smelt of it, but something fun, something exciting, and something that I think works well, and that is Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Eau Intense for women. Now, I will say I've only smelled this once, but from what I've heard from other people and from what I smelled, this one does smell like gummy bears, and that is just such a great fun yet sexy fragrance in my opinion, because it just smells good and it smells fun and it smells edible and it's sweet and it's delicious all at the same time. So I think that's a kind of a good fragrance for her personality. I think it really works well, and of course she got the only female fragrance on the list. So that is my list, really in no particular order. It's really hard to, you know, distinguish the qualities of one person over another, but all of these women I've had crushes on at some point in the past, and so there you have it. That's my list. I am going to tag someone in this video, as this is a tag video, and I am going to tag the Scented Engineer. Would love to see some of the types of women that he likes and what kind of fragrances he would scent for them. As for you guys, leave a comment down below. What kind of fragrance would you love to smell on one of your crushes? And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.